Oh, there's a big space behind me and an echo. So, Johnny's out doing some cabinetry things today. So I have made measurements of how big my floor area is, which, you know, it's not big at all, and how high I need to build my step to give me enough height around the diesel heater, and it's going to be lovely to put my feet on while I'm working once the spinny chair things are in. So I am going to at least get some of the battens cut to be for the props and supports and things for that. Yeah, so that's all exciting. So while we have so much space, I'm going to do a quick cleanup of the floor because it's not had a good brush for a while. And then I'm going to roll my lino out and I'm going to cut it smaller because at the minute it is in a 3 metre by 3 metre roll. And as you can imagine, that ain't getting in my van. It is 3 metres front to back. The reason why I had to get a 3 metre by 3 metre roll is that it didn't specify on the ad which way the wooden things were going, because it's like a wood effect floor. And of course, I need them. I need them to go front to back for perspective, you know, make it look bigger. So I had to do that. So I had to buy it 3 by 3. So I think I will just roll it out and I will trim off a metre off one side, and then I can use that for any other bits of things that I've got to do. And then, yeah, that will give me enough, more than enough, to then be able to put it in the van and then just trim around and make that fit nicely. So, yeah, make the most of not having any vans in and get that at least trimmed down and then get to work on the stuff. The floor needs some work, still deciding whether we're just going to put some 5.5mm ply over the top of it and glue it down so it's a nice smooth surface, or I've got some fine finish wood filler just because of things I'm going to need to do later on, whether it's worthwhile just doing fine finish wood filler, sanding it all down, because it's got 18mm ply down at the minute. Who knows? Who knew I'd be talking about this and not about sewing and accounts and menopause and just generally whinging about stuff, although I am generally whinging about stuff. Anyway, shut up. Here's a time lapse of me brushing up and cutting some lino. So, nicely covered in sawdust everywhere. I like sawing. First use of the circ saw, which is pretty cool. John was just like, here's some hints. Don't cut your fingers off. Don't put it near yourself while it's still spinning. It has got a guard, and make sure it's not touching wood when it spins up because it's got a bit of a kickback to it. So, okay. So I have been cutting, I'm doing a time lapse of it all, so it kind of takes away the being able to video as I go kind of thing, but you don't want to see all that in real time anyway. So I have 21 and 18 centimetre battens. These are to make my new step to go around the diesel heater. So it's 21 at the back and 18 at the front because there's a batten already in the floor that I will be fixing the front to. The back of it is going to shoot right over the top and go sort of tuck under each of the chairs and rest on there. I've got to give 10 centimetres gap above the diesel heater. It's got all the room, front and back where the intake and outlet is, and enough side to side for it to be okay. Just want to make sure that there's enough room in there. It will make a lovely size step for me for when I'm working in the driver's chair. So I am now also changing the floor. So this is the flooring that I took up from where it is where we put the diesel heater. So the diesel heater is about here where this flooring was. So I'm going to take this end of the flooring off here because I'm making the box section. I'm not going to make it with this. So I'm going to put that back down as the floor and lino over that with the rest of everything. This bit here is where the diesel heater is, so that's not going down. And then this here, not the dotted line, but this line, is 91 centimetres from that end, which is going to be where I put the a piece in here, which I'll probably use a piece of this, to box off the diesel heater, and then an outlet's going to come out at the front about here for the diesel heater. I'm going to have a lid on that part there that opens up so I can actually use this part as storage. I'm probably leaving that bit open but not having it so it lifts up so I can push some things down under there. How easy it all trips off the tongue. Measured like 50 million times, and I'm fairly sure I'm going to bugger this up, but as long as I just literally cut the two bits off and they fit the floor so I can put the floor back down again, then I'm happy. I don't mind. The rest of it is literally going to be making it up as I go along anyway, so I can play fancy with that a little bit. But we'll see. I get to do lots of pocket hole stuff again to get the uprights in for the batten at the front, so that's really good fun. Yeah, watch this space. Not really much to show you, apart from pencil lines. We're reusing, this is all the lining out of John's van. I mean, we do have wood, but we'd prefer to use the nice wood for the finished stuff that's going to just be painted. Whereas this is going to go under lino, because once I do the step, I am going to put the lino over the top of the step, and I'm going to put some nice edging strips on there. That should be a really nice finish. So I'm not too bothered about how this is going to look for now. So we might as well get that wood reused because it's blimmin' expensive. So I know some of my friends watch these videos, and I do say a lot that I am accident prone, clumsy, all different kinds of words. People have seen it for themselves. I mean, my good friends from before YouTube days have seen me sprain my ankle or pull my back by doing nothing, or cut myself and not realise how. And then since then, I know it's like Daz and Tash take the mickey like mad because there is always something. So yesterday I used a manual staple gun. Been working perfectly on 12mm ply, but clever Mandy here decides to use it on 5.5mm ply, and now has a very swollen middle finger and a dirty fingernail, and it's very bruised. You see that's been absolutely battered, and that bled everywhere yesterday. And today I didn't hurt myself yet. I'll put that yet in. However, I've got, look how beautiful this is. Look, oh, not that side actually, but look, it's beautiful. It's the right shape. Sorry, John. I mean, it still works. It's not broken. It's just maimed a little. I just maimed it. I'm sorry, workbench. So this is the project so far in boxing in the diesel heater. So it's sturdy as, I mean, it's not fixed in yet, but that's going to be sturdy enough for there. I've got the hole marked out where this is going to have a 90-degree angle on there, and that's going to be my vent that's going to come through the middle of the van and heat everything up nicely. Over here I'm putting some vent discs on, and I'll probably put one on that backside there, although I've made it so it doesn't quite fit. That was purposeful to get a little bit of much of an air gap, because obviously the top's going to go on there. And then with this, it's going to go over and it's going to sit on a batten here, so it's the right height. So once that sits there, I'm not going to fill in the gaps at the back, so that will give extra airflow for the heater as well. It's going to keep my feet lovely and warm when I'm sat here, because this is going to be my work chair. That bit is left like that because the front of this piece is going to butt up to that. There's going to be another piece of battening on this side here, and I am putting battening at the back there as well to give a little bit of extra weight bearing. John turned around and said if I was to put like a vent disc in there as well, I could put like my shoes in and have warm shoes. So that might be how it goes, who knows. But yes, so I'm not going to have that as a dead space, and I don't just want that as a step halfway through. So yep, all the way along, and then I'm going to run the lino up and over the top. And how easy it is just to say all of that, considering it took me an entire day to do. I did cut my lino as well at the same time, yeah. So I did do that, and I was out until midday. So half a day to build a little bit of a thing, but I did learn a lot on the go. And I did learn that if you don't take proper measurements, you have to keep coming out to the van, and that takes ages. So I'm pleased with that though. I like the way it looks, considering it is my first foray into any kind of cabinetry. I only screwed through one finger, and then the day before I stapled that finger. So I'm struggling with bending these at the minute because they're a bit swollen. Let's see what today is going to bring you. Alexa, find Unadventurous Mandy on YouTube.
Searching YouTube.
It's me! Oh, that's brilliant. Well, there you go. Right, so now I am going to be putting these vent holes in my step. So I'm going to go for there and there. So they are between two battens, so it still gets extra strength. And this is where the air intake will be for the back of the diesel heater. So this will help with the airflow a little bit. So they're going there, and then I've got to find, this hole cutter ready to go for those. And then I've got to get a 6 centimetre 60mm hole cutter from John's Tools. I'll go steal it. And cut that hole there for the heaty pipey thing to come out that will heat the van. What's it called? Ducting. I'm going to cut a hole for the ducting, and then that'll have the little thing that goes over the top. Vent. The vent that will vent the air out into the van. Look at my poor fingers, honestly. So that is my job for now. Right, there we go. Beautiful. I cut 2 holes and I didn't hurt myself, as John said, which, going off things recently, bloody amazing. Right, 3rd hole sorted. That's for the vent. And now I'm just going to have to try and find something small enough to put in there to get that out of there. But yeah, 3 holes, no boo-boos. I've been getting too much into this woodworking carpentry malarkey. This, look, peekaboo, peekaboo. This is the other part of my step. So this is going in that way. I've got this bit that's by the door, and then this bit should meet in the middle and have the little overlap that I left there. And then I have pocket hole jigged them all, so I can screw them down to the existing floor. So this is pretty much ready to go in. At least I've done like a million dry tests, so hopefully this will just slot in, but you know it's not gonna, just because I've just said how easy it's gonna be, you know. However, I have been multitasking, so in the background there, the air fryer is on, breakfast potatoes are underway, so we're gonna get some food and then see how this bit goes. Right, well that needs obviously fixing in there, but that looks pretty good. So that's all going to be accessible storage, and then we've got the diesel heater there. I've got another brace that's just like this that I'm going to fit here, because this is going to be the main place where feet are going to go. So that being there and all of this is hopefully going to brace that nicely. We worked out that we need to go into about here for this to be not a gradual incline, just so it rests. So then I'm going to chamfer off the edge there so I don't trip over it, and it should make a nice thing and hide all of this crappy stuff. However, before any of this gets fixed into place, I need to put swivel seats on, because I'm going to be messing around with stuff that's underneath there. That has pissed me off. But you know, I will live with that. That to me is a good first attempt at a step. I was going to say, bit of a late one tonight, but I've just noticed it's 10 to 7. So it is not a bit of a late one.
That's not late.
But it's a bit of a cold one.
It
is. I started recording me doing the swivel seats, and then I stopped because I did wreck the head of one of the screws in the seat. And thankfully, John and a bit of brute force and ignorance managed to sort that out for me. And while he was there, I figured that I have battered my little fingers so much that I can't do this in areas with limited space. So bless him, he's just stayed out and made sure that both swivel seats are in. Lots of swearing was had. Diesel heater is working, and
pump down.
And we've quietened the pump down. That made a big difference, that, didn't it?
It did, yeah. If you want to know how to quieten your pump down, so high density foam, like in a bed, which is this came from, and then half it, and then wrap it around your pump, couple of tie wraps or something like that, tap it around, and then suspend your pump from the tie wraps so that your pump is sound deadened and the reverberations from the dum 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 don't travel into the chassis or the floor or anything like that.
Yep. So it's proven to work to definitely quieten down that ticking. So yeah, quite a productive little evening. Fingers are frozen, so gonna get myself a nice decaf and see what else I can crack on with, because there's lots to do, don't you know? Good morning to you on this blimmin' freezing day. As you probably noticed, there's an echo in here because there is no van. Johnny's out again today. He has left me once again unsupervised with power tools. Hopefully I won't screw my own finger again, or staple my finger, or punch a driver's seat, or cut myself on things, because that just seems to be the standard. However, it is bloody cold in here, and it's such a big space to try and heat up, so I'm going to work on heating myself rather than heating the area. So far, as you can see, I am layered up. This has been my outer layer for days and days, because I refuse to get more clothes mucky, because you know we haven't got a washing machine right here. It's a bit of a drive to get to one, so everything underneath is changed duly. The top is just staying mucky because that is what I'm doing. However, underneath this, so I have this and this, there is, you see, I've got a little vest on. It's a little vest. Fleece lining inside it, so even without it switched on, it keeps you nice and warm. And they're brilliant. They've got different heat settings, so you can have it just on like a preheat, you can have it on low, medium or hot. Game changer for me. I have been skipping around this freezing cold workshop and not worrying about it at all. And of course, if I do get a hot flush, I just turn it off. It takes a couple of minutes to cool down. I'm sure we've got an offer code somewhere, so we'll put a link in the description with the offer code in it. Oh dear me. So I'd say that something didn't go to plan. The piece of wood I cut was fine. However, I've decided after cutting, because you know wood is so cheap we can waste it. I'll be able to reuse it somewhere else. That the way I'm going to split the step is going to be different, because I was going to do half and half, or work around and be too clever with the notching and stuff, and I ain't clever. You know, I'm starting to get to get going on woodworking, so I've got to, you know, it's that feeling when you do something and it looks like it's going well, and then all of a sudden you're like, yes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this and this and this, and then you just have to tell yourself, calm down and do what you know. So I have gone for a different thing. I needed to get some more wood. Let me show you where I am so far. So this is what I'm going for. I was trying to be too clever because I know that this is going to be like a lift up step. She says, knocking down the piece of wood that was holding that up. So this is going to be access for the step at the top. But for now, because I am technically in a little bit of a rush, I'm not going to do it. I can retrofit that won't be a problem, but for now it's staying as a fixed step, so that will be relatively how it looks. This bit here will mean that is proper rock solid and will come down there. I've got my little vent hole that came in the post today, so that looked good there. So all I've left to do, I've marked out where I need to notch out for each of the things. This is going to go in and just about sit on there. There is going to be battening underneath there to give it a bit of extra space. There's going to be some there, there and there. So I'm going to cut them out. I've already got the bit that I cut out before as a template to go around there, so I know how deep I need to make it. And then hopefully once that's all done and dry fit, I can get on to actually screwing some things in, because nothing, as you can see, none of this is fitted just yet. So once I'm done with that, then I'll be happy with my little step, I think. So back to carpeting again, which I probably could do without, because isopropanol in cuts, when you're cleaning all the carpet fibres off your hands, stings like hell. However, so this is the fascia board. So obviously that's inside the cupboard, so I don't need to cover that. And now this is all swanky with my vents and things, and that round the side there. And of course I'll just have the lid on to sort that out. So I just have to do that one. Look at the mess. So yes, cover that one, and then that should be fine. Right, sorry about the lack of lighting. Well, that's the carpeted front of that step sorted. That ties in nice with all the black around it, and there's going to be black carpet on the doors as well. So I like that. I've just got to decide what to put on the top here, apart from, you know, the wood anyway. So I've got my little vent cover. Obviously I need to put this in. I've got to cut it down and then put that in there, which I'm excited about, because then that'll be cool. Vent holes in. There'll be loads of air around there by the time I'm done anyway. There we are, my perfectly imperfect step. Obviously got my diesel heater in there, which is working brilliantly, and I've got a nice walkway through the middle, and this bit here is storage. I've gone all Mandy, and I've put Velcro on the back to get that to not jump around until I find a better way of fixing it down. That's just a temporary measure. However, I'm so chuffed with myself. I know it's a step, and I know I've used a raggedy edge on the end of it, and I know it could be better as far as the lines are concerned. There is a gap on one side because that lifting lid, and I'm already making all my excuses as to why it's not as good as it could be. But when we decided that we couldn't put the diesel heater under the seat, these things underneath the exhaust getting in the way and stuff, and it was just like, let's just drop it there, because that's perfect. That's where we've got gaps underneath on the floor, loads of room to get everything done, so it's not going to be a struggle. And I'm just like, you know what, I was wondering what I was going to do with that bottom bit. I was thinking about getting one of the Solway step covers, and then I said to John, I said, you know what, I'll build it out a little bit, because this is my seating space, so I can spin the chairs round, I'll have somewhere to put my feet. It will be brilliant. And then that was the idea, and John just goes, okay, just let me know if you need any help. Yes, one chuffed Mandy. My very, very first foray into carpentry, cabinetry, whatever you want to call it. Something that involves a jigsaw rather than a sewing machine. I'll take that. Happy as a pig in duty. Well, thank you for coming along with me while I built my step. It's absolutely amazing to have this idea in my head and just after writing a few things down and checking about a million measurements, I've actually managed to create it from nothing, and it's now installed in my van. So incredibly chuffed, and hope that this is the thing that's going to take me forward, and I'm going to get some nice cabinets and things using the same method. So from a very excited Mandy, thank you so much for coming along. Take care, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.